We have lots of feelings today. I don't know how to start this. Gold Rush was a thing that happened. It was fun, but I'm very interested in some of the choices that were made. But before we get into all of that, hello, my internet family, and welcome to another episode of NXT Losos, the weekly NXT review show here at BC WrestlePod. So, of course, I am your hostess with the mostest, Mikey, El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. And joining me tonight is the Grand Poobah, the Kilt Meister himself, Kiltman. Kilt is in the building.
The
Who
Bleed Father has arrived.
the Pleat Father has arrived and has feelings and opinions about Gold Rush Week 1.
I have a ton of opinions. Oh, dear, my earbuds. Sorry.
It's okay. So, if you couldn't
You like the
already
ones I'm looking
tell,
for.
we are going to be here tonight to review Week 1 of NXT's Gold Rush. So, Gold Rush is the yearly event that NXT puts on where championships are on the line. And with this year's Gold Rush, it expands to not just NXT, but also includes TNA, AAA, and WWE EVOLVE. So before we get into everything, because this is going to be kind of a straightforward episode, because it pretty much was straightforward, um, we just a little bit of housekeeping / announcements. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you should subscribe to our YouTube or follow to us on Twitch or Kick, whatever your preferred video consumption platform is. And of course, if you want to do something a little bit more self-contained, you can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where we pretty much are anywhere and everywhere. So it's a lot of fun. But we also have some merchandise available for you at our merch store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. And ever so often, we have a little coffee bot who will be popping up into the chant if you feel so inclined to help keep the metaphorical and sometimes physical lights on here at BC WrestlePod. Alrighty, I want to get into Gold Rush because I had a blast. I have lots of questions with certain things, but I still ended up having a blast with um, Gold Rush. So let's get into everything. So we kick things off with our first of 4 championship matches this evening, and this was for the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships match. So the challengers is the team of Joe Hendry, newly signed WWE star, and Miss Thea Hale, taking on the champions, which is currently All Ego Ethan Page, and from SmackDown, our current Women's United States Champion, and also one half of the AAA Mixed Tag Team Champs in the form of Miss Chelsea Green. I love Chelsea so much. She's great. This match was so much fun, and I think this was the smart move to have this match open everything up. Also, shout out to the crowd at Madison Square Garden Theater. Y'all were turned the entire night, and I appreciate you because I love it when a crowd is into the show, and this crowd got me hyped the whole entire time. Y'all were in this. Love you. This down. This was great. But yeah, I had such a blast with this match. This was just a lot of fun. Of course, I love Thea and Joe Hendry as a team, and Chelsea and Ethan as a team also work very, very well as well. This was a good fun. This was some good fun back and forth. Of course, I love seeing Joe Hendry do Joe Hendry stuff. But Thea Hale was also MVP, and of course, Miss Chelsea Green and Ethan Page. I love Chelsea's finisher, the unpretty her. I love her finisher, but yeah, this was really good, and I kind of want these mixed tag team championships to be defended more on NXT television because I want more mixed tag team matches. I had a blast.
Yes.
I had a good time with this one. Chelsea and Ethan do retain, but this was a fun way to open the show. Kilt, what are your thoughts of the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championship match opening up Gold Rush?
Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying I understand why they lost. I'm not happy that they lost, but I understand it because it should go back to AAA talent. Or at least the title should be won by AAA talent, in my opinion. Where's mine? How dare?
Hey, I didn't make the food; it was made for me, and I didn't ask. So you know what?
You know
That,
what? How dare?
oh, sir.
I'm in the middle of me talking. Anyway, and so I was going to say, I absolutely loved this entire match. Like, I loved how quirky and Joe and just the giggly energy that Thea Hale brought. She literally just became one of my next favorite crushes after Tater Tot. Because she has that energy that I absolutely love. It's cute, it's hilarious, it's funny. It matched Joe really, really well. And just like how Chelsea matches Ethan's ego, while I may not like the character, I love what they're doing with it. It is phenomenal. I love the bit that Chelsea's still doing with the Secret Harvest and the all the stuff that she's doing. I love how Ethan is taking the ego off the. It's just everything about this is great. This match was so much fun. Like, I just love the back and forth. I have to go back in. I have to go in my editor in a little bit and actually cut off a piece of some of the match, because I've been joking with Mike Rome in his community on his Twitch streams that I'm going to clip a little bit of Booker T when he goes, "Oh yeah, man," and just give it to him as a sound alert. And it was a perfect moment that I had to find. It's like a 37-minute mark. And I think it was in this match. No, it was in the Sol Ruka match. But this was so much fun. This was this was so good. It's causing me to have another. Basically, it's an asthma attack. It's the best way I can describe it. And cough up a lung. And I'm just gonna keep yapping so that way someone can feed his face. But literally, this was such. I can't speak anything more to this. We got the Joe Hendry spots of the turn. We got we got all the good cues here. We got the salutes for Chelsea Green. The ego. It's just everything was just. This match was so well done. And I love everything about it. It was great. I want more. Give me more.
I really hope this isn't it for these four to go at it and feud. I would love for them to feud for a little bit more. So we'll see what happens, but I still think that now that Joe Hendry is officially a WWE superstar, so yes, we reported that last week on our TNA review show. Joe Hendry, WWE bought out the rest of his TNA contract, so Joe Hendry is, a full-time superstar, which is very, very fun. And I love seeing that for him. And we love Joe Hendry. And him and Thea Hale make such a fun pair. I'm really happy to see Thea back on my screen because, once we kind of took her away from Chase U, she was off TV for a while and now she's back and I'm happy. And yeah, I love Chelsea and Ethan as a team. They are so much fun. And I don't know how much it costs, but Chelsea Green's hat is now on sale as official, merch on the WWE store. So I'm just saying, I don't know when I would wear this hat, but I would buy it just to support Chelsea Green. I love Chelsea so much. But this was a fun way to open up Gold Rush, and we continue on with the rest of the show because backstage, literally, the girls are about to throw down. The girls are fighting. So we get backstage where we see, Lola Vice and Jordan Grace, who I love these big oversized glasses, which is hilarious to watch every time Jordan Grace. I'm like, girl, why are we wearing these glasses? But they're talking about, Kalani Jordan and how Kalani is just talking out the side and she's talking all this mess. And then Kalani comes in and she again is this newly realized heel. Lola's like, girl, if you got something to say it to my face. Lola is ready to fight. Kalani's just like, okay, I will. And she says something to Lola and says something to Jordan. Jordan has to hold Lola back because Lola's ready to throw down. Also, Lola has a match against Chelsea and Ethan, as she is going to be going for those mixed tag team championships with her and Mr. Iguana in AAA this weekend. So that should be a lot of fun. But Kalani's just like, Lola can get it, Jordan can get it, and you know what? Next week, she's going to prove that she is an amazing champion because she's going to walk out as TNA Knockouts World Championship in that triple threat next week. So to remind folks, Kalani Jordan will be defending this TNA title in a triple threat. We will get more into detail a little bit about that. But yeah, it seems that Lola, Jordan, and Kalani are continuing to feud, and I'm here for it. You know, I think this is the perfect time to bring up this point. A friend of mine on the internet pointed this out to me. You know, if we look at all the matches combined for Gold Rush, there are 7 championship matches, you know, on the line, right? 5 out of those 7 are all women's matches. And I was just like, there we go. That proves my point once again. NXT utilizes their women's roster to me the best. And they're literally, NXT could just be a women's wrestling show and I'd be here for it, honestly. But yeah, Kalani is in action next week. And I look forward to going into that, you know, a little bit later. We get this announcement. Ava, you know, reminds us that we are 2 weeks out from the last NXT pay-per-view of the year, which is Deadline, which will be coming from Texas on Saturday, December 6th. And normally, WWE Legends would be the ones to announce who gets to participate in the Iron Survivor, you know, matches for the men and women. But this year, John Cena is going to be given that honor, and he's going to be announcing every single men and women's Iron Survivor competitor to compete in that match at Deadline. I'm like, damn, John Cena really do be loving hanging out around the PC, because there have been reports that that's all he's been doing for the last couple of months, hanging around the PC, which I love. And so, yeah, next week, Gold Rush week 2, John Cena will give us the men and the women who will be competing in that Iron Survivor Challenge match, which I'm excited, Kilt. It is a crazy match on paper in terms of how it goes, but it's a lot of fun. And the last 2 years we've done it, it's created some really fun moments to talk about. So Deadline ends up being a really fun pay-per-view to talk about. Hopefully this year is no exception. Now we get into our second match of the evening, where also these girls, you know, brawled it out. So this is for the NXT Women's North American Championship. This is Sol Ruka looking to reclaim the title. She never lost against the champion, Miss Blake Monroe, with Zarya at ringside. My God, I'm going to be so for real. I think this was probably my favorite match of the entire night. Sol and Blake are just so freaking good. I love this so much. I don't want Sol to go to the main roster quite yet, but I was like, oh, Homegirl is about to destroy the main roster when Sol gets up there. Her and Zarya proved it when they were on SmackDown like a month and a half ago. But I really dug this match. I thought Blake looked really strong in this one. Again, she was channeling, you know, the more vicious side of Blake Monroe, as we saw in her little promo on the Go Home last week. Sol is desperate. She wants her championship back, and she's gonna get it back regardless of what she has to do with it. But of course, Zarya being the one who's worried about it, because, you know, even Ava said that Sol can get this rematch anytime, but she wanted to do it at Gold Rush. This was just phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed this. Before we get into the ending leading into that, Kilt, what did you think of Blake and Sol going at it?
My question is, how did Tiffany allow Blake to steal her ring gear? Got the laugh. Yes! Because literally, that's all I could think of the entire match. I'm like, did she just steal Tiffany's ring gear? The red ring gear from SummerSlam? Because that's all I was thinking of. Also, why is she trying to be freaking, oh, what's her name? Oh crap! It's not Taylor Swift. It's not
Sabrina Carpenter.
Thank you, Sabrina Carpenter. With the towel. I'm like,
well, to be fair, she has said that this Blake Monroe character, Mariah May, who I know her as, but Blake has said that, you know, her inspiration for this character is Sabrina Carpenter.
all right, that makes a little bit more sense. But it's like it was just weird. I think like the mirror sequence is kind of odd to me. The mirror sequence entrance is weird to me, but I'm okay as long as she's having fun. This whole thing was just, it was a lot. Like, you see Blake go places, like, especially at the end, she went somewhere dark. Like, she went dark, and then she was, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be cutesy. And I'm like, damn. Like, that's
he unlocked something, because that I was scrolling through the Instagrams today too, and there was a exclusive video of, you know, the camera person catching up with Blake, and she's literally talking to herself in the mirror, like switching between these alternative like personalities between the cutesy Blake Monroe and then like, I'm going to call it like what she was in AEW, like this more vicious, like the Mariah May, which was crazy. So I'm like, ooh, I'm here for this. This should be fun.
It's a good direction. It's good. It's a good, the split personality. It's very Mankind-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Yeah, it's very Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack type of situation going on. It's cool. I like it. It's interesting to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it up.
It really is. And so we get to the tail end of this match where Blake has Soul's knee. And again, like, I don't know if Soul is double jointed, but Blake was wrenching that knee as far as she could. And Zarya was like, no, we have to protect Soul. So Zarya gets a towel and she throws in the towel. And so I don't like throwing the towel in wrestling, because I was like, oh, okay. But honestly, it's better than having Soul get pinned, because NXT probably didn't want Soul to get pinned. They don't want Blake losing right now. So find the best of both worlds, and Zarya throws in the towel to protect Soul. And so your winner and still your women's NXT North American champion, Miss Blake Monroe. We're going to get into Zaruka a little bit later, because they're kind of on the rocks a little bit, and we're going to discuss that when we get to that particular section. But again, I think this was probably I say probably my favorite like in-ring match with the storytelling. Now my favorite actual match is going to be coming up a little bit later. But shout out to Blake and Soul. This match was a lot of fun. Ricky Saints and the Louis Vuitton. Like, God. I know people have issue with Ricky and how he presents himself, but I don't care. I love me a good charismatic, like, baby face. He's smooth with it. I don't care. Like, I love Ricky so much. But I think this was a really good promo segment for Oba too. So of course, Ricky and Oba go face to face. You know, Ricky talks about, you know, after beating Oba and Oba, you know, collecting himself, Ricky has been here fighting the good fight. As babyface as he is, you know, he's defended this title. He defended NXT from TNA. He defended the title against Trick Williams. And, you know, Obafemi fires back too with a very passionate promo and basically says that nothing has changed with Ricky. He's still just an egocentric person. And then Ricky had me laughing when Oba was commenting on how he was dressing, and Ricky like did a pose in the middle of this. I was just like, Ricky,
why did he squat?
He's like, check this fit out. And I was like, Ricky is African-American. So I was like, that is such a African-American / like minority thing to do. Because Like, we tend to do that a lot with, he's like, check out the fit. And I was like, you go, Ricky. I love you so much for it. But I really love Ova's, talking about he went home to the motherland. He collected himself. He trained. He's here. And then he's like, Daddy is home. And I'm like, ooh, this is
someone's
fun.
stealing lines from Randy Orton.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's fun. And so Ricky's like, okay, you want a rematch? Bet. And so Ricky gives Oba a rematch for Deadline in 2 weeks. So I'm like, please let this be the match where we finally can send Oba up to main roster. Like, Oba and Trick, I think, of the men's division, I think they're ready for main roster. They have done, and to me, they have done and accomplished everything that they could here. It's time to send them up to main. So we get the match set for Deadline, and then, of course, Trick Williams comes out. He interrupts, saying that, like he told Ricky, it's not over till he says it's over. He wants one more shot at the NXT Championship. But then out comes Mr. Stephanie Vaqued.
I forgot. Yeah, together.
Miles Bourne and Stephanie Vaqued are currently a thing. But Miles Bourne comes out. He attacks Trick with the chair and just says, you know what? He's like, I took your advice, Trick. I was just like, I'm taking matters into my own hands. And all you do is bitch.
Wait. No, he said, I heard you.
And he partially did.
He said, I heard you.
I was cackling, Kill. I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to run with these jokes. I'm here for it.
Oh, that was such a good joke. It was, oh, my God. I heard you, Trick.
And all you do
is... you deaf!
So, this was great. I loved it. Later on, so after this, when we come back, because we go to commercial, we come back, and Ava's like, Miles, when I told you that, to check yourself for opportunities, this is not what I had in mind. And she got mad at Miles, but you wanted it, so be it. So next week, we get another match added for Gold Rush Week 2, which is Trick versus Miles. So that's going to be that should be an interesting match. That should be fun. And it's the only non-title match next week for Gold Rush Week 2. Meanwhile, Ava gets a phone call in the middle of this where we continue to see Tavion Heights and Josh Briggs brawl backstage, because earlier Tavion was cutting a promo, which I really, really enjoyed. And then Josh jumped in. They fought in the crowd. They went backstage, and then they continued to fight, where it ended up Josh Briggs throwing Tavion into a table. And I'm like, if these two are not in Deadline, these two need to have like a no DQ street fight match at Deadline, like, or a tables match or something. Because I was like, they be beating the crap out of each other this whole entire time. So love to see Miles and Tavion get pushes. They're really, really fun. Alrighty, moving on though. Now we get into probably my favorite Spot Fest match of the evening. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. I think this is Dark State's best match so far. But we get the NXT Tag Team Championship match next. We have Dark State of, Dion Lennox and, Osiris over here taking on the TNA X Division champion, Mr. Leon Slater. And your boy is bouncy Javon Evans. I love Javon, and I said it during the Halloween Havoc review. I love Javon and Leon as a tag team. Like, they are just so good. And I'm going to be so for real. I love Leon and TNA, but after WWE bought out Joe Hendry's contract, I would not be surprised if they try to do the same thing with Leon in the next couple of months next year or so. Because Leon is so good. But it's up to Leon. If you don't want that, then you know what? That's cool. Because I like Leon and TNA right now. I would like to see Leon be a world champion first before going to the Fed, but who knows? But yeah, like I said, Leon and Javon are awesome as a tag team. And this was Dark State's best match. I think they finally figured out how to work together as a tag team and how to work together as a 4-person faction. I'm just like, I still don't like the concept. It took us a long time to get here, but you know what? I'm kind of okay with Dark State now. Again, this was probably their best match. I'm a little sad that Javon and, Leon didn't get to win the championships, but I figured they wouldn't because I don't think NXT would put a tag title on, a current TNA champion unless Leon was going to be in NXT. But still, this was a lot of fun, and it was a miscommunication because Dark State was going for the pin. Javon comes up to do a frog splash. They get out the way. Javon accidentally hits Leon, which then Javon gets thrown out, and then Leon gets pinned. So your winners and still your tag team champions are Dark State. Kilt, what did you think of this tag team championship match?
Honestly, this was kind of like the weakest match for me out of the entire night because, like, I'm coming in here and I'm sitting there trying to figure out what else all I want to say. And I'm like, man, it felt like it was only 3 matches, and then we're going through it. I'm like, no, there had to been at least one more match because I'm sitting there thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, we had the Joe Hendry Thea Hale match, we had Sol Ruka match, and we had the the Tanner Tot match. Wait, wasn't there a 4th one? That's this match. This match, it was good, but it wasn't memorable to me. Like, I love Javon Evans and I love Leon. They are great and amazing, and I love what they're bringing to wrestling from their perspective, from their generation, and it makes me happy. Also, I keep hearing Javon versus Gunther, and I'm like, that's the stupidest matchup that doesn't make any sense.
It was a damn good match though on Monday.
I didn't get to see it, but it's like I haven't watched Monday yet. Let me be clear. But as I was saying, Javon is definitely main roster material, in my opinion. Now he could stay in NXT for a little bit, for like a year or two longer, get even better and even cooler. And if this partnership with TNA still keeps going, or if WWE decides to buy TNA out, which I doubt, I won't get into that. Having Leon and Javon together, like in either as playful rivals, as partners and tag teams, as just there to support each other. It's such a great opportunity for these two that I think they will grow more and more, and I'm excited for their future. Flipping over to Dark State. Okay. I see 4 dudes. Look, I see three amazing wrestlers of color and a random ass white guy.
You're not wrong. I'm
not wrong. I know that, but I'm not saying that the white guy's not a good wrestler. I'm just saying I see 3 wrestlers of color and a random ass white guy. Yeah, I felt like they had to throw him in there just to be token,
I guess. And
it felt really Vince of them. Every time I always forget that my lights turn blue at 9 p.m. and then all of a sudden everything just goes whomp. I'm like, the fuck did I just? Oh,
Darkseid heard you talking crap. They're at your house.
I'll start. Let's go. The manager's in the corner. But no, it's interesting. It's weird. It wasn't. I won't say it wasn't a good match because it was really well done. For me, it wasn't memorable. It felt like a lot of repeat.
I mean, that's fair, and I have to agree with you. I think of the 4 matches, nothing was inherently horrible, but this is definitely at the bottom of my list. I think for me, though, I feel like Dark State was kind of there, and I mean, they did get the win, but I feel like most of the offense was Javon and Leon going back and forth, which I honestly think that was the purpose of this match. I didn't think they were going to win the tag titles anyways, but I think the purpose of this match is, you get a match, a defense for Dark State. They get to retain the titles. But honestly, I think this match is to get people out more with Javon and Leon together as a team, because it's the second outing that they're going for as a team. We saw them go up against Mr. Iguana and La Parca at Halloween Havoc. And so now they were here going up for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I like this teaming. I really, really do. I would love to see Javon pop over to TNA too as well with this partnership, but who knows? WWE has different things going on. I will say though, Javon is a busy man because he had Raw on Monday, he had NXT yesterday, and this Saturday he is going to Mexico. It's going to be him and Laredo Kid and Octagon Jr. in a triple threat for Laredo Kid's title. And I'm like, oh yeah, Javon working with luchadors, this is gonna be good.
Dude, Javon, in all honesty, is as I'm using this as loosely goosey as I can when I say this, is such an American luchador.
Mm-hmm.
He's high flying, he's acrobatic, he's all over the ring. He is an Americanized version of a proper luchador.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for all those watching who are diehard, AAA and CMLL fans, I say this loosely, very, very basic, broadly when I say that. But he is definitely an amazing I think AAA would have a great time with them. And I think he would have a great time there. And I look forward to hearing what happened with that.
100%. So we move on from this match though. So Zaruka is kind of on the rocks a little bit. Sol is very upset with Zarya about throwing in the towel. Zarya tells Sol, look, I was trying to keep you safe. I was trying to, your knee was getting wrenched. You weren't anywhere near the ropes. And I was trying to protect you. And Sol's like, no, this is like, I didn't need you to throw in the towel. I wanted to get my title back. And now I'm not going to give up on it. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but we are starting the beginning phases of this friendship imploding. And this feud is going to feed families forever. Because I like them as a team, but this feud is going to be great because Zarya is fantastic. Sol is fantastic. I'm looking forward to whenever we get this feud, but Zaruka is on the rocks as of now. So we get a rundown of what's coming to us next week for Gold Rush Week 2. I mentioned that we are getting Trick Williams versus Miles Bourne, but that's the only non-championship match, because then we have the other 4 championships that are scheduled to be defended. Of course, we get the TNA Knockouts World Championship in a triple threat. Kalani Jordan defending the title against our Muscle Muffin Jordan Grace and TNA star Li Yang Lee, which is going to be a really, really fun match. Then we also have Zarya taking on Fallon Henley to determine who is going to be the new Women's Speed Champion, as this title has been vacated due to Sol's injury. And then we get our 2 WWE EVOLVE championships on the line. On the men's side, we have, 1/5 of the Vanity Project and the men's EVOLVE champion, Jackson Drake, taking on Super Sean Legacy. So that should be a lot of fun. But on the women's side, we have our women's EVOLVE champion, Kendall Gray, defending the title against Miss Lainey Reed of Fatal Influence. I think these matches are going to be really, really fun. I look forward to week 2 of Gold Rush. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty, let's get into it. Main event time. And looking at this picture, I have to mentally prepare myself. So, in the main event of NXT Gold Rush Week 1, Tatum Paxley defending her NXT Women's Championship against challenger JC Jane. This match was really, really fun in terms of so many near falls, so many close finishes, distractions, fights on the outside. And I was just like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. But then the match itself was fun. Tatum, the crowd is so behind Tatum. They love her. We love her. And JC, I think, has finally gotten more comfortable with being her heel character. And I think she's a heel because NXT doesn't have too many women heel characters at NXT right now. Why I was not prepared for it, though, because Tatum gets, after near falls and shenanigans, Tatum gets thrown out of the ring. She proceeds to try to get back in the ring, but then Shawn Spears and Nico Vance block her from getting back in. And then Izzy Dame comes in with a nasty boot to the face, knocking Tatum silly. They throw Tatum back into the ring, which allows JC to hit her, finisher. And for the 1, 2, 3, your winner and new NXT Women's Champion, Miss JC Jane. So she got the title back. Tatum only got to be champion for 3 whole weeks. So I've had 24 hours to sit with my feelings, to process everything. I want to start by saying this. In no way, shape, or form am I blaming JC or Tatum or Izzy or any of the performers. They are just doing their job, and they're doing what creative and booking are asking them to do. So booking is going to get my wrath. I'm not as mad. Okay, I'm not mad. I'm just annoyed. And here's why. So you created such a over moment with Tatum getting the title at Halloween Havoc, beating JC Jane, who has been on a tear as this heel champion. And then the NXT crowd, the Halloween Havoc crowd, the whole NXT universe is behind Tatum. She is a true babyface. And we love her, and so does everyone else. I'm bummed that she was just a transitional champion, and she only got this title for 3 weeks. And now JC's on her second reign. And my big thing is now, I think the feud between Tatum and Izzy is going to be great because now Izzy has that heat thanks to what she did. And I think it's going to be good because, again, we need more women's heels in NXT because we don't really have too many defined heels. However, I don't understand why you let Tatum hold the title. Like, I wasn't expecting her to hold it long, but dang, 3 weeks? That's all we got? I was just like, the only way I can be okay with this is that because now I need to know why. Why did the calling turn on, Tatum? It could have been just Izzy turning on Tatum, and that would have made sense. But we had Nico and Shawn Spears to turn on Tatum as well. I need to hear why. And then what I need to happen is Tatum and Izzy feuding, but I need Lyra to come back to whoop some ass too. Because I think hear me out, right? If this is meaning that Tatum instead of JC is going to be the one to go up to main roster, I want to see Tatum with Lyra and Bailey. I think that trio would be kind of great. That would be fantastic.
Yes. Give me my 3 crazy ladies.
And I honestly think that's probably where we're heading because based on this, I feel that NXT wouldn't. I was expecting NXT to at least give us a little bit longer with Tatum's reign, but I honestly think that it's because I thought that JC would be the one to be called up. But if we're giving JC another title reign, I think Tatum might be the one heading up to main roster soon, which I love Tatum. I wish she got a longer title reign. However, I'm just very annoyed that you created such a really beautiful and fun moment for fans to be rallying around Tatum only to make this decision after 3 weeks of her holding this championship. I'm so bummed for Tatum. The match itself was a lot of fun, near fall shenanigans. I'm not mad. I'm just really bummed out that Tatum didn't get a longer reign. She got it for 3 weeks and then that was it.
Yes. Now you've had a full day. I've had an hour and a half at most. I'm upset because Tater Tot did not deserve that betrayal. But then again, I didn't really like the Colleen anyway, so them. But I yes, the next time we see Tatum staring down these three. You disappeared. We're back. Okay, cool. I need Bailey and I need Lyra to come back up the Tatum dot. And I need my crazy ladies. Come on. Give it to me.
Yeah, I would love to see these three take on Fatal Influence, which is great. Which could be happening as soon as Tatum and Izzy go through whatever feud they're going to go for, however long this is. And honestly, I think this is a Deadline match. I think we're getting Tatum and Izzy in some sort of match at Deadline. But again, really bummed for Tatum. But JC is now a 2-time NXT champion, which has only been held by 3 other women in the history of NXT, which is a very fun club to be a part of, especially because I believe it's Mommy, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka, I think. So, but that is how NXT Gold Rush Week 1 goes off the air for us. And yeah, again, overall, despite me being super bummed with Tatum, I really thought this was a fun NXT show. And I'm looking forward to Week 2 of Gold Rush. Again, we have both Evolve championships on the line. So the men and women's Evolve championships. We have the Speed Championship on the line as well. And then our TNA World Knockouts Championship. So should be a really fun night. And I look forward to Week 2 of Gold Rush next week, where, of course, me and Kilt will be here. But Papa Oso will also be back full-time, as now he is at the end of his play. And he will be back to, be here for Week 2 of Gold Rush. And then, this perfect time to come back, as, the following week, it is time for the go home before Deadline. So that's going to be it for us here at NXT Losos. But we still got a whole, jam-packed week of fun stuff for you. So let's take a look. Later tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, the CMLL crew will be here to review another episode of Viernes Espectacular for CMLL. And we're having some fun over down in Mexico, so stay tuned for that review if you like Lucha Libre. Then tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, I will be holding it down, as I will be flying across the pond, metaphorically speaking, to the UK, as I will be here to review Progress Wrestling Chapter 186, Noisy Neighbors. Some really fun UK wrestling, a really good main event, and I look forward to it because now we are getting into Vendetta in 2 weeks, which makes me so excited. And that's at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. Friday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, the TNA crew is going to be here to talk about TNA Turning Point. So again, NXT having questionable things. TNA shocked the world last week for us, as Mike Santana, one of our faves, won the world championship from Trick Williams at Bound for Glory back in October. Then we had four weeks of just clip shows and no taped content. We get an episode last Thursday. Mike is defending his title for the first time. And then Frankie Kazarian cashes in his college shot gauntlet after Mike Santana gets beat up by the NXT stars for Mike Santana to lose the title. And so, yay. And then we have a pay-per-view to talk about. So that's going to be crazy on Friday. Then on Saturday, I'm pulling double duty, as at 9 a.m. I will be holding it down with Benny, our new friend and our new AEW host, as the two of us review Defy Wrestling's Aeon 2. And then Benny and I will also be there later that night at 5 p.m. Pacific, as we do a full watch along for AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view, which is shaping up to be really fun. And then we wrap up our week leading into Thanksgiving break. For me, and Sunday with our WWE review, where we'll be talking about Raw and SmackDown, and also be doing our predictions for Survivor Series, which makes me super excited. I can't wait to do predictions for Survivor Series. I'm excited to be there in person, next Saturday. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah. And love you, JVO, but you are not yucking my yum. I know I have my issues with the Fed, but that pay-per-view should be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. But I'm bringing in a jacket because in San Diego about during the winter time, that bitch about to be cold. But that's going to be it for us here at NXT Losos. Thank you so much from all of us here at BC Wrestle Pod. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story I will see y'all a little bit later tonight for CMLL. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.
Peace!